Hey guys, this is Nikita Wilson with Kita's Kitchen, and it is Motivational Monday. I'm super excited to share some quotes with you, so let's get into it. All right, so I hope everyone is hanging in there, making it through, staying strong. I have some really good quotes I am going to share. I don't have them necessarily in a specific order, but there is one that I want to end with, one of my favorites. So let's go ahead. It says, instead of calming the storm, learn to calm yourself in the midst of it. Instead of calming the storm, learn to calm yourself in the midst of it. Now, this is something that it's a challenge, especially if you're like me and you like to control things. I think I've said this before, but I am a borderline control freak. And one thing that I really, one of the many things I should say that I've really been working on is learning not to stress over things that I cannot control. What's the point? If I can't control the outcome, if I can't control what happens, why am I stressing about it? It doesn't make sense. So that's something I've really been working on. I think I've been successful, even with all the Corona stuff going on. Like, I'll see people on Facebook irritated and stressed at the fact that people are still going out, that people want to protest their freedom or their right to be able to leave the house and do things that are considered non-essential. But it's like, we got so many other things going on in our personal direct lives that we do have control over, rather than stressing over something that we can't control. I can't control what Governor DeWine says, what he does at this point. All I can do is ride this wave and hold on as tight as I can. So I think that's kind of what this quote is hitting on. You can't calm the storm. You can't stop the lightning. You can't move the clouds. But what you can do is center yourself, deep breaths, focus, and calm you. Focus on you. Focus on the things that you can control. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, y'all. But it's possible. So instead of focusing on those bigger things, those bigger issues, focus on you and how you react and how you handle things. We always talk about self-control. We always talk about how we can respond to things, our actions. This is another one of those quotes where you can't control some of the things that are around you. All you can control is what you can do. So that's why I like that one. On to our next quote, number 2. This says, to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. To handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. This is another one that's going to cause you to check yourself and put the things that you do and the way you treat people in perspective. It's so easy for us to look at things from a logical standpoint when it doesn't have anything to do with us. But instead of looking at it in that way, look at it with your heart. That goes back to empathy. We've spoken on empathy before. And then when you're handling yourself, kind of get out of your emotions, kind of do the opposite. Instead of being so emotional, instead of being so, if it's angry, if it's resentful, whatever, instead of doing that, use your head, use logic. Now, okay, does this really make sense? Like, I'm really upset over X, Y, and Z. Or get down to the underlying issue of it when it's with yourself. But when it's with others, sometimes you got to handle people with a different set of gloves. Sometimes you got to be a little more gentle. We've spoken on, gentleness. We've spoken on empathy. And again, when I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself. So yes, again, to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. Okay, quote number 3. I like this one too. Loan someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. Loan someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. It's so easy to point the finger. It's so easy to call somebody out on their flaws, whether it's a friend, a relationship, especially when you get comfortable in a relationship. It's so easy to just nitpick and focus on the things that irritate you, that get under your skin. But instead of tearing somebody down, someone who you love, how about lending them some of that strength? If you're good at problem solving and that other person isn't, you don't have to, be like, oh, you just never try to figure it out. Like, why don't you just try to do this? Or why don't you just, instead of badgering somebody or bashing somebody, give them some, give them some productive suggestions, give them things. And again, it's like all of the Motivational Mondays kind of like feed on top of each other. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Be honest, but give that honesty with love and compassion. So same thing. When someone has a trait or a characteristic that you feel like maybe they need to work on, instead of being hostile or attacking them or being short-tempered, loan them your strength. Everyone doesn't think like you. Everyone doesn't have that same set of skills, the same mindset. So if you can help somebody, just help them. Take your strengths and their weaknesses and kind of balance each other out. What do they say? Equally yoked? That doesn't mean, oh, if I have a car, you have a car, I have a house, you have a house. No, that's not what that means. That means, hey, if I'm good financially and you're good at coming up with ideas, we could start a business together. I'll run the money part. You be the creative side of it. That's what being equally yoked means. You have something to bring and I have something to bring. So again, don't always tear people down. Sometimes you do have to just be hands-on and help. And that's okay. We are all different and we just got to learn to deal with each other in those certain situations, especially if we know that that's a weakness for them. Sometimes they need us to hold them accountable a little bit more without being intimidating. Okay. You cannot share your vision with everyone. You cannot share your vision with everyone. Some people don't understand it. Some people can't think that far. I'm a visionary. Like, I can literally imagine whether it's a business plan, an idea, whatever in my head and see it. But then if I'm talking to certain people and I'm trying to share that vision with them, they can't, if it's not already existing, they can't really understand, they can't see it. And that's fine. But you have to recognize those people, because sometimes with them not being able to see that vision, it can kind of destroy your vibe. It can kind of destroy your vision that you have when it doesn't make sense to them. And that's really nobody's fault. You just have to have the understanding of what other people can understand, if that makes sense. So you got to have those creative, visionary people that you can call to bounce ideas off of. I have a few go-to people. If I'm feeling creative and I'm like, I just need to run this by somebody just to see if it makes sense, then I call that person. I have a person or different people in my life where once the vision is already created, then I can show them that vision and then I can get their feedback. They're very good at giving constructive criticism or constructive critiques. And the biggest part on that is the constructive part. You don't want people to just tear your ideas down and make you feel like crap. And that goes with anything, not just business. If you have a goal that you want to reach, if it's, hey, I'm trying to save $2,000 by the end of this year so I can have a down payment on my house, then you have to share that idea. If you're open to sharing it, share that idea with people who are goal-oriented, who have a positive mindset. You don't want to tell somebody that and then they're like, $2,000 is a lot of money. Like, you already are out of work. How are you going to do it? How are you going to pay for childcare? Like, nobody wants to hear that. If I share that with you, then I expect, depending on that kind of person, again, I'm keeping in mind who I'm sharing certain things with. So I expect for that person to be like, oh, okay, so if you do this, you can bring in an extra $50 a week by, not eating lunch out, cooking at home. If you eliminate, you got Netflix, Hulu, HBO, cancel, 2 of those, and that's going to bring in another $25 a month, and then you'll be at your goal in no time. That's the kind of people that you want to share your vision with. That's the kind of people that you need around you, and then maybe you can bring those other people in later. But you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. If you are still friends with people who don't have any goals, who are just content with being stagnant, then 9 times out of 10, you'll also, not even knowing it, be content with being stagnant. But once you start to elevate yourself and you're surrounding yourself with those people who are further ahead than you, more mature than you, have set goals and accomplished goals, like, then you start to really evaluate yourself, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what I could be doing. This is what I need to be doing. And it just allows you to really dissect yourself and hold yourself accountable, because we know self-accountability is very, very important. So again, you cannot share your vision with everyone. That's nobody's fault. That's just real. Now, last but not least, this is one of my favorites. I actually have a tattoo of it on my back. So I'll go ahead and read it. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It is not envy, it is not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love never fails. Now, I know that's probably super familiar to a lot of people. And there's a few different versions depending on the scripture. But I love this quote, I love this scripture. It is literally like a guide or a reminder. If you are ever in a situation and you are questioning whether it's love, or you're questioning whether you are giving love, I say reference the scripture, because it tells you exactly what love is and what love isn't. And with this scripture, I mean, if you're really trying to figure it out and you're like, well, how do I know if it's love? How do I know if it's real? And you just go back and you just think, is it patient? Is it kind? Is it envious? Like, is it easily angered? Is it rude? I mean, I feel like if we think back on past situations, past relationships, if you go back and you go through every line of this and you start to notice, like, oh, it was very self-seeking. Every time, I messed up, it was like always being, brought up over and over again. And it's like, I just could never get a clean slate. Or, is that ego too big? Are they too proud to apologize or to accept that they made a mistake? Or even, like I said, looking at yourself. Am I really showing my partner love? Am I being patient? Am I being kind to that person? Am I doing things just to appease myself? Am I quickly angered, easily angered? So I feel like this is such a good reference if you are ever in question about whether you are showing love or you are being loved. Read the scripture. I'll read it one more time. Love is patient, love is kind. It is not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it is not rude. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love never fails. We shouldn't be receiving anything less than this. We should not be giving anything less than this if we are telling somebody that we love them, or if someone's telling us that they love us. And I know it's hard because we're human. I remember my mom told me, like, you can't fault someone for being human. We make mistakes. We get mad. Like, we know that. But if you look at this list and the majority of the things are the things that love shouldn't be, then something needs to change. Something needs to be fixed. You guys know I'm always preaching on self-accountability and holding ourselves responsible for the things that we do and being aware of the way that we treat people. And it's so important, because once you put something out in the universe, again, you can't take that back. No matter how sorry you are, no matter how apologetic you are, somebody could remember that for the rest of their lives. They say people don't remember, what do they say? People don't remember what, they may not remember what you did for them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So again, be kind. If you have to take a minute before you react, then do that. If you have to tell somebody like, hey, I just need some time to process this before I answer, then that's okay too. And I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in. I truly appreciate you taking 15-20 minutes out of your day to tune into Motivational Monday. Please like, comment, share this with somebody who you feel like needs this message. There's some other Motivational Monday videos. Check those out too. I want to try to encourage other people. I want to encourage myself. I just want to be a better version of me, a better woman, a better mother, a better person, a better human. So let's help each other and continue to be a light. So please stay safe, guys. Have a good one. Bye.